Well, quite a heavy panel for me to moderate. Ritesh, I'll start with you. So, you have founded so many startups, and you have founded a lot of companies and is angel investor in a lot of startups. According to you, how important is content marketing, and what happens if it is left on back burner?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much. I think I'm super excited, especially for Anirudh. Both of them, when they started, I think they were back, I think 19 back then, and what they've built is phenomenal. Also, very excited to see Harshit join the bandwagon. On the content piece, this is very interesting. मैं आते आते बड़ी अच्छी चीज पढ़ रहा था, and that was that content is not the king, it's the kingdom. Content is, and when I went to Y Combinator, I asked Michael Siebel, he's the founder, he's the CEO of YC. He said that YC is not an accelerator or an incubator. Y Combinator is a content strategist. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, okay, tell me, what do you do at Innovate? By the way, Innovate is a co-working space. So, as Indians, our education system ऐसा है, हमारे को है ना, this is very interesting. My mother used to tell me, जब हम बोर्ड के एग्जाम दे रहे थे, my mother said that बेटा अगर 5 मार्क का क्वेश्चन है तो 2 पेज भरने हैं, 10 मार्क का क्वेश्चन है तो 4, और अगर 20 मार्क का ऐसे क्वेश्चन है तो 10 से कम नहीं भरने. तो आई सेड दैट अगर 20 मार्क के क्वेश्चन को एक पेज पे हो जाए तो कहती बेटा मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे ना. एंड शी वाज राइट. From the beginning of our childhood, we are taught to continuously produce jargon out of our mouth in our mind. And as so rightly said, the other panelist before me here, when he said quality, I think quality is so important in content. We are seeing one of the most interesting phases of marketing in the world. Content is at the center of everything. And when Michael asked me, what do I do at Innovate? I said that we are the new generation, physical come virtual reality spaces. And we are generating amazing spaces for young budding founders to build technology companies of the future. And he said that you are bullshitting. And then I realized, he said that say this in a very simple language. And I said that we build beautiful co-working spaces which are affordable back in India. He said that's what good content is. Content is about removing jargon. Content is about building values. And content does not mean that you are. A lot of people ask me and they say that content is about writing blogs. Content is about knowing what does your company stand for. Content is not for your customers. Customers are the last leg of your content. Content is first for your soul, to understand why you are getting up every morning to actually do what you are here to do for. The second thing which is very important, this content is for hiring the right kind of people, matching the right set of DNA, and ensuring that every single day you stand for a couple of things, and ensuring who do I not serve. That is very important. What are the set of customers? Your target is so important, and that will be refined by content. In my opinion, in today's day and age, why the value of people like Mayur, who has massively escalated, is the fact that content is going, and I can vouch for what Mayur has drastically done for Oyo. Before Mayur was there and after Mayur, it's typically before Christ and after AD. So he's typically changed the entire narrative of Oyo. Earlier, Oyo was known as a brand for affordable stays. Today, the way Mayur has typically changed the entire narrative, and that is why content is so important. And in my opinion, anyone who does not focus on content, start working on content. I think content is going to give you the most compoundable and the highest return on time spent. I usually forget questions because I get lost listening to Ritesh. I get lost listening to myself. I remember going to Innovate one time and Ritesh walked me around. Ritesh walks everyone around Innovate, and it's the best introduction to a brand that you can ever get. It's in his blood, and there's a little bit of Ritesh everywhere, including the walls, which, by the way, are full of posters. And it's one of the things that makes that place so appealing. So I think no one understands the marriage of using. I'm not a fan of content. It's fine. Of marketing and adding soul to it. Then they share. Of course, the guy was like written a book on it. So
So I don't know what the hell I'm doing in the middle of this, but what was the question?
So I have a different question for you. So you've been instrumental in journey of building a lot of brands, which we all look up to. How important is content marketing there, and how have you leveraged that experience in Oyo?
Yeah, look, I'm not, like I said, I'm not so sure about content marketing. I think our jobs collectively is to make people fall in love with ourselves. Screw brands. It's us. We don't sell anything. We sell us. When we walk into a room, we don't sell what we're carrying in our laptop. We sell us. Starting from being kids to wooing someone and hoping like hell they don't see past the reality. Everything else we do is just that. So I think that naturally just translates further when you look at an organic being like a brand, right? You're looking at your mail right now or your text right now. Someone just saw Instagram right now. Ritesh just tweeted and posted. I liked it. While he did it, because I knew he would do it, by the way. I know Ritesh. He'll live stream everything, right? And I'll follow it. And at the same time, I'm listening to Bajaj Capital Strategies and Apollo and Shiro's, which I admire so much. It's all very, it's all streaming at the same time. It's all very organic. So for me to speak about this in a very siloed way is impossible. I just can't do it. Right. So I feel that's what I attempt to do. I think that's what all of us attempt to do when we do marketing. Sometimes it leads to a conclusion in terms of, hey, is that button click, is that sale made? Sometimes it leads to trust, or sometimes it leads to fear psychosis even, where you're like, shit, do I have this virus? But each one of them compels you to act just like you would if I told you a joke, you'd crack up, right? So my purpose might be different than something else, but all of us are just talking to each other and hoping like hell, as I said, for us.
Thank you for that. So, Aashish, in your book, Fast, Cheap, Viral, you mentioned that instead of chasing perfection, how about chasing excellence and while doing 10 pieces of content? So, that's very clear that you're talking about content production. And so, how do you align time and resources to make sure that your content pipeline is maintained?
Before I answer that, I'm really excited that an event like this is happening because when I started, content का CV किसी को पता नहीं था. I had applied for a job at Ixigo, they had rejected me. I had to convince them कि content marketing. और हम सब तब धक्के खा रहे होते रहे content या एजेंसी ढूंढ रहे होते रहे and creator economy, ecosystem इतने बड़े words content के साथ जब जुड़ते हैं, it's like we are front and center, it's our time to shine. And India is an amazing place for amazing talent, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for calling me. अब question क्या था?
Okay, so how do you align your time and resources to make sure your content pipeline is maintained?
I don't give a shit about pipeline. I give a shit about audience. To be honest, कोई हमारे वीडियो कोई हमारे पोस्ट की वेट नहीं कर रहा है. क्वांटिटी से मैं थक गया, right? So idea is कि whatever you post, it could be a tweet, it could be a blog, it could be a video. Everything in marketing is content marketing. जो भी last mile पे people are receiving, कुछ भी हो, एक tweet हो, एक pamphlet हो, एक video हो, एक blog post हो, एंड में सब कुछ कंटेंट ही तो है यार. है क्या? एड चलाओगे तो कंटेंट है, Amazon पे एड चलाओगे तो कंटेंट है, हर चीज में कंटेंट है. यहाँ पे आसपास कितना कंटेंट है, राइट? सो एवरी मार्केटिंग इज कंटेंट मार्केटिंग. एंड आई फील कि व्हेन लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आस्क मी हमें कितना पोस्ट करना चाहिए इंस्टाग्राम में. हम लाइक तुम कर देना 24 घंटे हो गए तो शिट वेट करो करने का, राइट? यार पोस्ट तब करो व्हेन यू हैव समथिंग रियली मीनिंगफुल टू से, रियली अमेजिंग टू से. जब आपके पास वो नहीं है, देन फॉर एग्जांपल न्यूज़ चैनल्स के पास हर 2 मिनट में कुछ ना कुछ यूजफुल होता है उनके हिसाब से, हमारे हिसाब से नहीं. सो इफ यू हैव, दैट्स व्हाई दे कीप पोस्टिंग अ लॉट. सो इफ यू हैव समथिंग मीनिंगफुल टू से रेगुलरली एंड ऑफ्टन, पोस्ट रेगुलरली, राइट? पाइपलाइन में बोलते, फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैड अ मीटिंग विद माय बॉस की हम एक टारगेट बनाएंगे, इतने वायरल वीडियो, इतना. हमने यार तुम ये गोल दोगे तो ये तो कभी अचीव होगा ही नहीं. मैं ये चीज करता रहूंगा. मेरे फ्रेंड के 90 91 चाहिए, शिट दैट्स इट, 91 इज माय बार, 100 कभी आएंगे नहीं, राइट? सो that's fine. So I think pipeline, we just walk backwards from the audience. कि ये हमारे आइडियाज हैं, ये हमारे 6 महीने का रोड मैप है, हमारे 70 आइडियाज हैं, राइट? एंड देन we can align that with resources. कुछ आइडिया छोटे हैं to implement, कुछ take more time to implement. But I feel when you put, in my experience, just my experience, when you put all this management on top of creativity, creativity goes to shits, right? That's why I never took a job as a chief marketing officer anywhere, because I got a lot of offers. हमने मुझे हल्दीराम नहीं बनना मार्केटिंग का, इतनी सारी चीजें, I want to be a Chinese restaurant, fucking awesome Chinese restaurant. और एक चीज में अपनी craft में से as content creators, to be good at a craft, it takes years to get better at something, right? So that's it. I think we start from the audience and walk backwards. And I completely like what she said about building that love. But वो ना एक छक्के से नहीं आएगा, because सबको छक्का मारने का प्रेशर होता है रोज, सबको वायरल वीडियो चाहिए. Like I'm in such a terrified spot every time I come on stage because I'm connected to the word viral. And I'm only as good as the last video. Last video nahi chala, oh fuck off. Right? So I think we have to produce consistently. It's not just ki ek chakka maar liya. It's like we have to win the match. So ek do. So I think I've given the do paper ka answer for a 5-number question.
I'm hungry. I want to project.
Okay, so if you're saying that we just have to create content consistently, and so should content marketers talk about ROI instead of how many content pieces to be made or something like that? Any of you, please.
We consume data instead of budget. So I personally can't survive without that, to be honest, right? You talk to Ritesh sometimes. How many sales are there from Mayur right now? Raise your hands. None? Thank you. Not Ixigo, so you guys can sit down. So, yeah, look, brand में निवेश करना चाहिए, अच्छी बात है, is cock, you'll get murdered if you walk into a room with that, right? Not in the kind of business all of us are in. So, yeah, ROI is 100% important. And so I think I'd rather talk about what ROI you set and align with business before you start anything, right? Because if you say, okay, in my case, or in Ixigo's case, I'm just going to sell X number of flight tickets when I run this film, will die, right? But if you say, okay, you know what, my job is to create consideration, for example, and people who don't consider me now, I mean, sure, you can keep doubling down on who are already coming for you, whichever business you are. But if you're not widening this pool, A, and B, if you're not directing traffic, if you have an app, for instance, then you're wasting everyone's time, including yourself. So get out of it. So yeah, I mean, to set that up, make sure that one, you align first up what you're going to go for, and two, make sure you track the hell out of it, and three, then deliver it is everything. Other than that, I mean, anyone can go and watch Mac whatever. That's fine.
Aashish, you want to add anything on that?
No, I just want to say कि ROI, to be honest, investment से है. उससे पहले return on investment होगा, right? तो investment हम करेंगे नहीं. When we produce content on low budgets, right, or very low resources, that's the story of startups, right? Like today, people are saying, everybody feels startup is a very cool, creative place to work. अरे जब पैसे हैं नहीं तो creativity तो बची आपके पास, right? And you like है ही नहीं पैसे. मुझे कैमरा नहीं मिला था यार. मेरे को शूट करने के लिए कैमरा नहीं था मेरे पास, right? I had to prove कि कैमरा चाहिए because पिछला वीडियो वायरल हो गया. So you had to, I mean, at every stage there is validation, right? So I feel when we create low budget but high storytelling videos, right? Then you will experiment more, right? You can create a lot of stuff and see कौन सा चल रहा है, कौन सा नहीं चल रहा है. Because a lot of the brands, they do big campaigns, I've met a lot of people, CEOs, CMOs, and like, एक बड़ा campaign, celebrity, media, उसमें करोड़ों खर्च होते हैं. अब करोड़ों वाली गेम में हम कितने experiment कर लो? और एक चीज अगर करोड़ों वाली बना ली, तो उसमें branding भी चाहिए, conversion भी चाहिए, ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए, because so much is at stake. You can't do more, right? So I feel that if we keep creating more regularly on low budgets, then we know कि कौन सी चीजें which we can put a lot of might behind. And बाकी I feel measure करने के लिए in performance ad, for example, everything is cut and dry, A/B testing होती रहती है, which works, which doesn't. And content में the only metric which I track, which I care about, is engagement. Engagement नहीं तो कुछ नहीं, right? So yeah.
Okay, so the monitor is giving me signals, so I'll just wrap up with the last question. So for content marketers, they get requests from everywhere. Like the sales people will ask for a deck, digital team will ask for ads, social media team will ask for something. So how, and also for content marketers, the process is very broken. sometimes they'll give half-baked brief and stuff like that. Very, the deadlines are like one day away. So what kind of content operations, like how can they streamline content operations? As like, what do you think? Since you are there in the industry from so many years, how things have changed and
Streamlining content is basically what you're talking about. Like how do you streamline
content operations?
When you're sitting in the middle of a floor and you've got stuff coming in from one direction and people like want a deck and want a social post and want 10 dozen mailers to yesterday basically, right? I was talking to Anirudh and he was asking me how to structure, right? And I think why we structured that way is a whole other story which we can talk about. But I think one, you've got a, you mentioned about number of ideas people do it, etc., right? You got to figure out what you care about, you got to figure out what you care less about, and then you got to figure out what you don't give a shit about. Okay, so I found that it's the only way to streamline. And then whatever you care about deeply and mostly. You can't ignore it because it can't be shit. But I think that's one way to streamline it. I'm sure there are very, very organized ways to do it, and they are very organized by the way. But fundamentally, if you apply this logic, you will find that you solve most problems. This is a business problem that I can solve with creativity. I can be effective. I care deeply about it. Right? This is a good to do. It's of organizational value. I should care about it. This is just someone trying to do CYA. I don't give a shit about it, but you need it. I'll take care.
I mean, I don't have much to add because for every request which comes in, right, there's somebody assigned to do that. And if it's a startup and you don't have resources, then you can have interns, or you can say have creators on retainer or a pack of hours, and then everybody is assigned to do something because वो आग नहीं लगनी चाहिए. Because जब आग लग जाती है, वो लगती है, हर startup में लगती है, कहीं ना कहीं लगती है, right? That's fine. And when that happens, when shit hits the fan, then everybody is together. But for every such thing, there's a hurdle. कौन क्या करेगा? We never cross boundaries.
I think one thing echoed in all of your talks was listen to your customers and sell yourself. So with that, actually, I'll request Kishan to add me in customer calls. Okay, thank you so much, and it was great having you.